Hi everyone, welcome to Edubbey Global Solutions. Today we'll be looking at sexual reproduction in humans. Introduction. Humans, like other mammals, only use sexual reproduction. Sexual reproduction produces individuals that are different from each other. A quick question says, sexual reproduction involves a single parent, true or false? False. It involves two parents. The male reproductive system. The male reproductive system has two functions: to manufacture the male gametes and to deliver them to the site of fertilization, the testes. The male gametes, called spermatozoa or sperm for short, are manufactured in the testes. These are enclosed in a sac of skin, the scrotum, which hangs outside the body between the legs. The position of the testes helps protect it from physical damage and, more importantly, keeps them at a temperature 2 to 3 degrees Celsius lower than the body temperature, ideal for the development of the sperm. The sperm are delivered inside the female body through a series of tubes that eventually release the sperm from the tip of the penis. Sperms are manufactured in the testes, true or false? They are formed in the testes. True. Other parts of the male reproductive system includes the sperm duct, prostate gland. This is about the size of a golf ball. It manufactures and adds to the sperms a nutrient fluid called seminal fluid in which the sperms are able to swim. And these together with the sperm form the semen. Then we have the urethra. It's a tube that carries both urine and semen along the penis to be released from the body. The penis is the organ for introducing sperm into the female. It contains spongy tissues. The male reproductive system lies very close to the part of the excretory system that removes urine from the body. The two systems together are called the urinogenital system. Someone who has had a vasectomy can no longer ejaculate sperms. True or false? True. This slide is showing us the male reproductive system. A well-labeled male reproductive system, we can see the urinary bladder situated right here. And the vas deferens, or we call the sperm duct. And then we have the urethra and the penis. Then we have the testes and scrotum. And here we have the prostate gland here. Then we have the rectum and seminal vesicle. The female reproductive system. The female nuclei, which are involved in the process of sexual reproduction, are located in the female gametes called ova. The function of the female reproductive system is to produce ova and to ensure that they are fertilized by the male gametes. Protect and they are also required to protect and nourish the embryo if fertilization occurs until it is born. The ovaries. The ovaries are part of the female reproductive system and they are the female gonads. They make the release of female gametes, which are egg cells or called ova, easy. There are two types. There are two ovaries in a woman. Each is smaller, a little smaller than a ping pong ball, lying in the lower abdomen. The female releases one ovule every 4 weeks from alternate ovaries. The female gamete ova is much smaller than the male gamete sperm. True or false? False. We get to find out why to proceed. Other parts of the female reproductive system, the oviducts, for instance, are tubes which carry the ova away from the ovaries. The uterus is a pear-shaped organ lying behind and slightly above the bladder. Its walls contains involuntary muscles. It is where the embryo develops during pregnancy. The cervix is this is the back of the uterus, where the uterus joins the vagina. It supplies mucus to the vagina, and then the vagina is the part of the female system which receives the penis during copulation. Now, drag the words into the correct boxes. Ova are produced here. Ova are produced in ovaries. Link the ovaries to the uterus. The oviduct links the ovaries to the uterus. Connects the uterus to the exterior. That will be the vagina. The neck, the neck of the maybe the vagina. The neck of the uterus is the cervix. The cervix is the neck of the uterus, and the site of implantation is the uterus. Oh, correct. This slide is showing us the female reproductive system, a well-labeled female reproductive system. We can see the fallopian tube or oviduct, and then right here, this is the fallopian tube or oviduct, and then this is the ovary. This is one ovary, this is another ovary. Making tube, and then this is the cervix, the neck of the vagina. See the vagina, and then the uterus or womb. Human fertilization. Fertilization is the joining together or fusion of an ovum and sperm. It takes place in the oviduct. The new cell contains a cell of genetic material from the mother and a set from the father. Only one sperm will penetrate the membrane that surrounds the ovum. Once this has happened, a series of changes takes place. The ovum membrane alters to form a barrier to the entry of other sperms, and the head of the sperm or that contains the male nucleus moves towards the nucleus of the ovum, and the two fuse. So the question says fertilization is the fusion of which two parts of the cell? That's the nuclei. This slide is showing us the structure of the male gamete or sperm. We can see the head where the nucleus is located, then the middle piece, and then the tail. It has a mitochondria, and it has a nucleus, and it has an acrosome. An acrosome. Adaptive features of sperm. The acrosome contains enzymes to penetrate egg cell membrane, and the mitochondria releases energy for beating of the flagellum. The flagellum beats to move the sperm towards the ovum. Male gametes are produced in huge numbers per ejaculation. True or false? The female gamete or egg cell, adaptive features of egg cells, jelly coat membrane and cytoplasm. The jelly coat membrane is quickly changes in nature at fertilization to allow entry of one male nucleus and prevent any more from passing through. While cytoplasm contains food stores for early development of zygote. Gestation is the name given to the complete period from fertilization to birth. True or false? True. This slide is showing us the comparison of the male and female gametes. The male gametes are produced in millions, while the female gametes are produced in small numbers, one per month. The male gametes are smaller than the ova. The male gametes are motile, that is, they can swim. by beating the flagellum, while the female gametes are non-motile, but they have a large food store. Development of the embryo. After fertilization, the fertilized ovum or zygote starts to divide first into two cells, then into four, and so on. It continues to move towards the uterus. About 6 days after fertilization, balls of cells, now called embryo, becomes embedded in the thickened lining of the uterus. Conception, the beginning of the development of a new individual, takes place when this embedding or implantation is complete. Once the embryo is attached to the lining of the uterus, some of its outer cells combine with some of the mother's cells and the placenta begins to develop. What is the name of the ball of cells that form soon after fertilization in humans? Embryo. The placenta, um, the time taken from the development of a baby from an implanted zygote is called to the time of delivery is called the gestation period. The stable environment is provided for the fetus by the placenta. The placenta begins to develop at implantation. By 12 weeks, it is a disc-like structure with the with finger-like projections called villi that extend deep into the wall of the uterus. The fetus is attached to the placenta by the umbilical cord. It is surrounded by the amniotic sac, which is filled with amniotic fluid. So this picture here is showing us the wall of uterus, placenta, umbilical cord, vagina, cervix, blood vessels, fetus, amniotic fluid, amnion, and then the fallopian tube or oviduct. Progesterone is produced in the placenta in the late stages of pregnancy. True or false? True. The role of the placenta. At the placenta, materials are exchanged quickly and selectively between the mother's blood and that of the fetus to keep a constant internal environment inside the fetus. Protective antibodies also cross the placenta so that the baby has some immunity to certain diseases. Some harmful materials can cross the placenta and affect the fetus. For instance, nicotine, a toxin in tobacco. Babies of mothers who smoke can be born already addicted to nicotine. Rubella virus, a pathogen which causes German measles. This disease causes damage to the developing brain and nervous system of the fetus. What will happen if a woman smokes during pregnancy? What happens is that nicotine can cross the placenta and affect the fetus. In summary, placenta is the medium for the exchange of soluble materials such as food, wastes, and oxygen between mother and fetus. It also serves as a medium for physical attachment of the fetus to the wall of the uterus, protection of fetus from mother's immune system, function of the amniotic sac and fluid. In the uterus, the developing fetus is surrounded by the amniotic sac, which is filled with amniotic fluid. It protects the fetus from knocks and bumps. A sample of amniotic fluid can be taken through the abdominal wall of the mother to check for the abnormalities of the fetus. The abdominal wall of the mother to check for the abnormalities of the fetus. So here now we have a question that shows us a diagram, gamete one and gamete two, and then X, and then a zygote. Which process is occurring at X? The process that's occurring at X is fertilization. Feeding the newborn baby. Drag the words into the correct boxes. When a newborn baby is placed close to its mother's breast, it sucks at the nipple. This is known as the suckling reflex. Suckling stimulates the mother's brain to release oxytocin. The hormone oxytocin causes tiny muscles in the mammary glands to squeeze out milk. This process is lactation. The birth process or labor, first stage of labor, by the end of pregnancy, the baby normally lies with its head against the cervix, ready to be born. At first, the contractions come every 20 minutes, and then as approaches, contractions cause the amniotic sac to break and release the amniotic fluid. The cervix dilates as it gets wider. During the third stage of labor, the placenta comes away from the wall of the uterus and leaves the vagina as the afterbirth. Second stage of labor. Labor continues as the baby's head is pushed past the cervix into the vagina, which is now acting as the birth canal. The birth process is quite traumatic for the baby and it may become short of oxygen as the umbilical cord is compressed by the walls of the birth canal. The umbilical cord is clamped when the baby is breathing properly to prevent bleeding and cut. The question says contraceptive pills is a method of birth control that prevents an egg from being released. True or false? So we'll learn more about this as we proceed. Here, this slide is talking about birth control, and it says the world population has risen alarmingly over the past few decades, causing economic and social problems. A solution lies in birth control. The main methods of birth control are the hormonal method, which is also known as a pill. It prevents ovulation and it's quite effective. And we also have the surgical methods, which is in male we have the vasectomy, which is irreversible, and in female we have the tying of the oviducts, which can be reversible and it is effective. The surgical methods are very effective. Abstinence is also another means of birth control. The natural or rhythm method is a natural means of birth control. It has to do with the menstrual cycle, limiting sexual intercourse only to those times when fertilization is less likely in the menstrual cycle, and also um, watching the body temperature. The chemical method, this is the use of spermicides that kill sperms inside the vagina of a female before intercourse. Not a very effective method. The chemical method is not a very effective method, and there are also mechanical methods such as the use of barriers like condom, femidom, a diaphragm, and intrauterine devices, which are quite effective as well. On this slide, we have a question that says, in which sequence do these events normally occur? As is there are five processes involved in labor and birth. What is the sequence in which they occur? Which one comes first? The the first one here should be the contraction of muscles in the uterus, followed closely by the dilation of the cervix, and then the passage of the baby through the vagina. Then we have cutting the umbilical cord, and then we have delivery of the afterbirth. So that would be the first option. Correct. Another question here says, which diagram of the male reproductive system is correctly labeled? A. Okay, this slide is showing us the egg, the sperm cell, the egg cell and the sperm cell fusing together to form the male embryo, to give male embryo, right? So we also have sex chromosomes found in egg cell. We have a table showing us sex chromosomes. And then the question says the diagram shows the production of a male embryo. Which row shows the sex chromosomes in the cells and the type of cell at P? Um, since an egg cell can only give an X chromosome and a sperm cell can give an X or a Y chromosome, and it is a male embryo, then we have the XY chromosomes, and this occurs through mitosis. So C would be the best option. This slide is showing us a graph which is showing the results of a study on the effectiveness of different methods of birth control in the country. Which type of birth control is the most effective in this study? The use of percentage effectiveness, method of birth control. Okay. The most effective here would be the vasectomy, which is a surgical method of birth control. Correct. So this brings us to the end of sexual reproduction in humans. Remember to join us for more episodes of IGCSE Biology. Check us out on www.edubbey.com. Thanks for your time.